Do you dream to retire before your parents or see minor children under your care retire as millionaires? Then, folks, you are in the right place. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you. Welcome to the Muslim Women Invest podcast. I am your host, Dr. Miral Azam Khalil. For the greater part of the past decade, I have invested in the US stock market, US farmland, and real estate, put over 100 families towards creating generational wealth through minor investing. In this podcast, we talk all things money and empower Muslim women to take steps towards financial freedom through busting myths and small, bite sized, actionable steps. So let's begin, starting with the dua of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, our Prophet Moses. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Bismillah.
Today's topic is a really good one that we will be discussing today. It's called how to invest you how to use the news to invest. My name is Dr. Miral Azam Khalil and we are going to begin immediately. As usual, the disclaimer is there's no client relationship assumed. All material is copyrighted under Invest for Life MK. Material being presented is for educational purposes only, and no tax advice or financial advice should be solicited without a client relationship. If you guys can hear me, if you can put yes, that would be nice for me to continue. Let's start with the istiyada and our intention. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. A lot of people who are new might not know that I always begin with Hazrat Musa's dua or Moses' dua, because I really want you guys to only benefit from things that are beneficial to you, and anything that is not beneficial to you, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes it from your heart, from your memory. Also, my intention of teaching this class and overall giving financial investing advice is based on the ayahs of Surat. um, I have a sore in my throat, so forgive me. um, Why is the news important? All markets, including the stock market, is affected by the news cycle. And this news does not have to pertain to the financial sector only. In war, famine, natural disaster, or anything that affects the general stability of the world affects the stock prices, and especially the sector the news affects the most. So, generally speaking, anybody who's reading the newspaper and also investing in the stock market is going to generally observe that the news cycle affects the stock market. And so this is a very useful tool for people, especially without a financial background, because this gives you a shortcut to learn about the about the stock market pretty quickly. Compare how it is affecting the market once you start reading the news and comparing it to the how your watch list is doing every day. And so this is how I became a successful financial investor, by reading the news every single day. I tell everybody, especially my clients, that if they are to be successful, they should have the pulse on the news. You should be reading the news every single day. If not, you should generally know what is happening, because this is going to affect not only your financial situation, it affects the whole market. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's related to the finance sector or not. Anything that happens globally affects the stock market and all investments, including gold prices and everything, because everything is interlinked. So we are not living, as you know, people try to say this and that and other sectors, but everything is linked, and it's linked quite intimately, just so you know. So what news should we follow? Everything and anything. Get in the habit of reading what is happening globally and locally. So I am not talking about um, literally the local news to your locality, but keep an eye on the prices at the grocery store. keep an eye on what's happening with the Federal Reserve Bureau, keep an eye on the government, keep an eye on, by government I mean keep an eye on the decisions they're making. Anything that comes out of the president's house, of the Senate, of anything affects the stock market. Once you are able to see, or once you start reading regularly, you will be able to begin picking on patterns that affect the market and particular sector. So I'm just going to give you a very small example, and it makes so much sense when I talk about it, but you will not believe that I thought that general reading has nothing to do with the stock market. So let me give you an example. Whenever the oil rich countries, which is called the OPEC, they have an oil producing, I think, companies come together for a meeting, and they decide on the oil prices, especially the companies that export oil. The oil prices that they decide on are affecting the energy sector. This is common sense, right? But for a very long time, I did not have the sense, or I did not have the education to think that an OPEC meeting happening somewhere in the Middle East is affecting the stock price of the energy sector in the United States. But because they're exporting and we are consumers of that particular raw material, which is crude oil, it affects oil prices everywhere. And so, for example, if there is a recession, or for example, if the price, if we are desperate, and because the oil is a monopoly, if they increase the oil prices, the energy sector does really really well. Because even though we are trying to move to solar power and we're trying to move to renewable energy, still most of the energy comes from oil and gas. So just be mindful of this, be mindful of these small things which are not technically related to the finance sector, but they affect different sectors in different ways. Recent examples of the news affecting the market, if you guys read my newsletter today, let's see who's online. Fawzia and Nasreen, I don't know if you guys read the newsletter. Can you tell me if you guys read the newsletter that I sent today? Then you already know of these examples. Let's see what you guys say. You can just simply type yes and no, because if you've read it, I won't continue it in detail. If you haven't, I'm going to explain it. Okay, perfect. That's fine, Fazia. So for just so that everybody knows, in today's newsletter, I wrote about how I give an example of how the Barbie movie, which obviously I think a lot of people know, Fawzia and Nasreen, I'm sure you guys have heard and you've seen posters of the movie. The movie has crossed 1 billion in revenue. So remember, how is this news? Because this is cinema. How is this cinema or movie news related to the stock market? I'm going to make you a very simple connection. Barbie is owned by a franchise which makes another toy which is really popular, Hot Wheels. I'm sure you guys have seen it, you've heard of it, you've seen the small toy cars in the grocery stores. So Barbie and Hot Wheels is made by the same manufacturer, and the parent company who owns these products is called Mattel. I do not invest in Mattel. The stock price was $21. They had earnings coming out last week. And so let me tell you how this works. So the Barbie movie, the franchise that Mattel owns, grossed $1 billion in revenue, and the stock price did not increase that. It did not increase significantly. So now, I mean, you are going to wonder that the product that they own did so well in the cinema, why did the stock price not increase? Because remember, the Barbie movie was made in collaboration with other directors and with the cinema people. I'm not sure which um, production company it came under, but having said that, Mattel's prices are going to increase steadily because of the hype of the Barbie movie. The merchandise related to the Barbie movie, which is t-shirts, mugs, magnets, all kinds of stuff, would have increased. And where and when are we going to see the increase in the stock price? If you have been following what I tell you, and if you haven't, let me reintroduce you to what is earnings. Earnings happen every quarter when a publicly traded company has to come out and let us know, the investors, how are they doing financially. And so when, because of the Barbie movie's hype, the merchandise is going to be, I'm sure they've sold a lot more merchandise, and because of that, because of the selling of that merchandise, the stock price is going to go up. So Mattel, because directly they did not make the movie, there were other stakeholders involved in the movie, so the stock price of Mattel did not rise. But people who are going to keep an eye on the stock price, or who keep an eye on the market or on the news, for example, people like me who don't even invest in Mattel, next cycle, which is going to be in October when the earnings of all publicly traded companies come out, I will keep an eye on Mattel and see, did the stock price steadily increase? How are they doing? Because that would be a good time to invest money in that stock, knowing that the company has done well, it has sold a lot of product, it is in profit. Same goes for the Meta. Meta is the parent company that owns the new Thread apps. I'm sure you've heard of it. And Facebook, when the Thread app was announced and when it was launched, within a single day, 30 million people joined Threads. And so when they joined Threads, the stock price for Facebook, or their parent company Meta, increased, and it kept increasing. And so I have never invested in Meta personally, but because I knew that they have been doing well, I invested in the stock, the earnings came out, and I rode the profit. Once I rode the profit, I sold it again. This is not a company that I invest in long term, but this is a way to earn money based on news. I knew that the company has done well for itself. I knew the Threads app had garnered 30 million users. I knew the stock price was increasing, so I just rode the wave. And when it came down, I just sold the stock and made a profit. This is how you make money when the news affects the market, and this is a really nice way to make money, especially if you're a reader and you have a pulse of the how the economy is going. You can easily make lots of money just by knowing what's going on. So what is the first thing? Let's start with the first thing. Nasreen and Fazia, I guess you guys are the only one online. Do you know how to make a watch list? And simply, a watch list is something that you can make on Google or on Yahoo Finance, anything. You just write the company's name, there's and the stock ticker. I think so, yes, Fazia. I think if you, I'm going to answer this question, and probably this question is going to be answered in the next slide. It is better to start investing around earning times if you know how to read the financial statement. If you are just making assumptions on the recent news, this is a big no. You need to follow the company, like I've told you. So the best part is that you make a watch list, you see how the company has done in the past 6 months, and on that basis is when you start investing. Of course, when you see a company's 6 months financial statement over one piece of news, you're going to make a much more informed and educated financial decision. Because let me tell you something, just one singular trend cannot save a company from financial disaster. One of the companies that does this really often is Elon Musk's Tesla. I don't invest in Tesla because they, most of the time, what they're doing is a smoke screen. So even though the company's stock prices have rose in the past 6 months, they have cut their stock. They have cut the prices of their inventory, so it gives a false sense that they are, you know, selling a lot of product. But remember, if the Tesla vehicles cost 30 to 40% less than what they costed last year, even if they sold more cars this year, if you do the math, they have earned less money this year. And so what does an earning tell you? An earning tells you what was the profit of a company. And having said that, even though Tesla sold a lot more vehicles this year, technically the stock prices went down when the earning came out because they had marginal profits, because they took a hit on the profit. They were able to sell more inventory because they cut their prices. It's like if I tell you that my book is 50% off and I sell 10 of them, I mean, I will be cutting on my profit. So I did not earn as much money. Yeah, apparently I sold a lot of books, but I did not make that much money. And corporate earnings are all about how much did a company make, how much did a company make money in the terms of revenue and sales. So this you need to balance this is why I'm telling you that you need to make a watch list, and you have to monitor a company. So even though, like I said, the Barbie movie came out, I did not invest in Mattel because now it has piqued my interest. I'm going to see how it does, so I'm going to monitor it from last month, which is July, to October, and then around October I will make a decision after monitoring it for months that is it worth investing in this company now, or was it just a one-time trend for the movie that the company's stock price rose. Do you see what I mean? Does it make sense, Fausia? Yeah, so it's not a one-off event. It's not like one and done. You have to make sure how the company is performing consistently, to be precise. So how can make money off the news? I just told you what I did with Meta. You simply follow the company. If it's doing well, you invest in it, and then you take the money out because you're sure that this is a stable, good, sound financial investment. You do not invest just based off on one-off events. Is it really that simple? Like I've told you, it is mandatory that you see the financial health of a company before you make any investment. That means you have to follow it for at least 6 months. This is why when people come to me for private consultations, they tell me that they were bitten by people who gave them free advice over YouTube, and they've bought a stock at the peak price, and when everybody sold, they lost a lot of money just because they were following a trend. A lot of new people who do not want to do the homework, or who are just following YouTube advice, for they don't understand the full holistic picture, invest money based off on a trend. uh, Fausia, company's financial status is a very long topic. We can discuss that later, but I can show you how to make a watch list. It's pretty simple. I'm going to start sharing my screen. So if you guys can see my screen, you can simply go to Yahoo. You can simply go to Yahoo Finance or Google. You can simply click on Yahoo Finance or Google Finance. It doesn't make a difference. And then you can search for new symbols and companies. For example, you want to search for Tesla. You can simply write it Tesla. The ticker name is TSLA. You click on it, and you simply press follow. I mean, you have to sign in to make an email address. I don't have an email address with Yahoo Finance, but if you have a Yahoo email address, you can simply sign in, make an email address, and if you click follow, it's gonna give you an update on the Tesla prices. So you can literally, I mean, for example, say Meta, it's the same thing. You can click on it and you can just click follow. You need to make an email address with Yahoo or Google or whatever. It's as simple as that. Do you follow, Fazia? And Nisreen, was this clear? Okay, perfect. So how to know a company's financial status is a really long topic, Fazia, which requires a lot of time. So inshallah, I will try to cover the basics of it. Let me share my material with you guys again. So like I said, it comes with a caveat which nobody tells. People just tell you that I made money off such and such, but they're not telling you the homework, the legwork they did before they made an investment. And this is where I come in. I do the heavy lifting for my students. I do the heavy lifting for my clients, for my customers. And so they know that I've done my particular homework. So why doesn't this advice come for free or anything else, because for legal reasons you cannot financially advise somebody until you are in a client relationship. Why? Because they can sue you. It's unethical. And I'm going to share an article with you where YouTube influencers were I think they affected the stock prices by asking people to invest in certain stocks, and when people used to invest in those stocks, they used to sell them and the stock prices fell, and this was a really big scam. I'm going to share my screen with you and tell you the and show you an article that tells you why, if somebody is giving you free financial advice, you take it with a grain of salt. Until and unless you are in a client relationship with that person, they have absolutely no desire, and they have no legal implications to have your benefit in their mind. So let me share my screen. um, I often share this article with people because I think everybody should be aware of what's happening. So if I simply go back to Google, and you can search for this article yourself, it was in the news. Stock market influencers jailed. Um Trader, YouTube. So I don't know if you see this. This is a government website, sec.gov. SEC basically controls the stock market, and this is recent. SEC charges 8 social media influencers in a 100 million stock manipulation scheme promoted on Discord and Twitter. And you can read this article. I can share it with you. And this is why I tell people that everything that is free is not in your benefit. This is why people hire or pay people, because they have no, if you are doing a YouTube video, you have no legal obligation to take care of the other person. You're just giving your opinion. But once you're in a client relationship, you have to look at the risk of your client, and you have to act in their best interest. So this is an article. You guys can click it and read it for yourself. But I like to share this with you people because a lot of people come to me and tell me, can you please just give me the stock? And I have never given out stocks. I do not give out these lists because it's unethical. And as you can see, it's a crime. It's a crime. They were telling people to buy the stock, sell the stock, and they were manipulating the stock prices. They were not in a client relationship. They were literally doing it on Discord and Twitter, for because they had a huge following. And so 100 million stock manipulation. Imagine what kind of money these people made out of manipulating people, and people were blindly following them because, like I said, everybody wants to have free advice, but free advice, financial advice, can be disastrous. I'm gonna stop sharing screen, go back to my material. Okay, what else? So if you're ready to learn more, I have a membership program that I launch every single year because I'm normally really full, and I want to help you guys for one whole year. I personally believe that if there is no hand holding for at least a year, um, especially for Muslim women, a lot of people don't get the full benefit of investing. And I think the perk of being in a membership is that you get access to me twice a month, for a whole year. So you are going to be on your feet and running by the end of the year. You will not need anyone, especially if you are a normal person. By normal, I mean somebody who's not earning millions of dollars. This program is for people who want to make money, who want to learn how to manage their finances, who want to learn how to make money on the stock market, and they want to do it on their own. So keep an eye out. If you guys need more help, or if you need only one-time consultations, you can just email me and I will look and ask you questions. We send you a questionnaire and we see if you're a good fit for the program, for even the one-on-one consultations. This is my email address. As usual, for any questions, comments, or compliments, you can email me, and I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for your questions. If you have any more questions or concerns, um, please type them out. Other than that, this is all for today, guys. Thank you, Fauzi and Nasreen, for coming. I love having you guys. وإياكي. Okay, we are gonna end the session. Alright, guys, till next time. Jazakallah khair. Assalamualaikum.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Let's end our podcast with a very powerful surah from the Quran. A surah is a chapter of the Quran, and this surah is Surat Al Asr. I started my investing journey and began teaching investing because of this surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that only people who guide people to the right way, to the truth, and to patience are the ones who are going to be successful. Let's end on this beautiful surah, and I will see you later. Bye from for now, guys.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله